Hi everyone, welcome back. This is episode 3 of the Great Southern Rail Trail, and this episode we are travelling from Loch to Korumburra, the gateway town to the South Gippsland region. And we've had a bit of a delay getting to this episode. So we did, after the last episode with Loch, we said we'd be back in a week's time with the next episode, and it's actually been quite a bit of time frame. So we have been to Bruthen since and done the medieval festival, and we've been to a couple of other places, but we had a bit of an accident in Loch, and so we'll mention that further down in the video, what happened there. But we are back in action again now, and or most of us, there's still some recuperation going on, and I'm standing in Korumburra right now. So let's get back to the Great Southern Rail Trail. We're heading out of Loch and travelling the 15.5 kilometres distance down to from Loch, and I should say up, because we are now at about 738 feet above sea level, and which is 200 and something metres above sea level here in Korumburra. So let's get into it, and I hope you enjoy episode 3 of the Great Southern Rail Trail. I'm still by myself, and I'll show you a quick picture, pop up a picture, and you'll see we've had a bit of a delay. So the last time our video, as you know, we've gone from Nyora to Loch. We got to Loch, and then we had the Food and Wine Festival there as well. But we also had a little bit of an added adventure when we were at Loch on our bike. And I'm going to pop the photo up now. And this is Joyce. She fell off the bike and didn't have much of a fall, actually just slipped over, but actually broke her leg, and quite badly. And she was fortunate enough not to have surgery. It didn't displace. So basically she's been in a splint, non-weight bearing, for 6 weeks, and that 6 weeks is nearly gone. So she'll be back in action soon. So we are just been dropped off up here in Loch, and I'm heading back towards Korumburra now. So hopefully we'll be getting back into it in a more regular cadence. Plus the weather's been pretty terrible. It's also cold. It was 6 degrees here this morning when I left home at 10 o'clock, and it was down to 2 degrees Celsius overnight. So it does get pretty cold here. It's been below zero a couple of nights in the last week. But we're also going to stop in Benalla. Now Benalla, spelled B-E-N-A, and the locals pronounce it Bena. That, I believe, is a local, I think it's the Bunurong people, it's a word for lyrebird. So it's a name for the lyrebird. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's spelled L-Y-R-E, bird. And interesting animals, lyrebirds. But today we're heading to Korumburra. Now Korumburra also has an interesting name. It was originally called Coal Creek. And Coal Creek, it was named that because, well, they found coal there, and lots of it. And what's more, they found pretty good, I'm just going to put a bit of battery power on while I'm talking. It was very good coal. In fact, the local people referred to it as black gold. It was such a good quality coal and clean that, as far as coal goes, that it was worth a lot of money. So that's what grew Korumburra. Now Korumburra being called Coal Creek at the time, its name did get changed to Korumburra, and I think it was officially about 1902, if I remember. And the name Korumburra, the locals will be very pleased to tell you that it means maggot. Now, I've done a bit of research on this, just to see whether that's actually entirely true. And it is another Bunurong word for either maggot or blowfly. However, there's a little bit of dispute over that, because there's some people say it actually refers to the giant earthworm. Now, if you're looking at what lives here in South Gippsland, one of the things Korumburra claims a bit of fame for is the giant earthworm. And when we're talking about seriously giant earthworms, they're talking about upwards of 2 meters in length, about 2 to 3 centimeters in diameter. And look, you never see these things. They're not something that just appears in your garden. In fact, they probably, if you live in Korumburra, it's living under your garden, but they live fairly deep. And so you only come across them if you're digging up a field. However, they do make interesting noises, and if you have a farm, farmers will tell you they hear them quite regularly. You can hear them squelching under the ground because they're digging big long burrows under the ground. So even David Attenborough popped out to Korumburra at one stage and did a little bit on the giant earthworms here. So apparently not the world's biggest earthworm, although some people say it is, but it depends how you measure them, I guess. So that's a little bit of interest about Korumburra. There's a bit more. We're going to go through more on Korumburra when we do a walk around the town. But for the moment, this is nice out here. And I'll be honest, I've never been on this part of the track before. So it's kind of nice to get out somewhere different. It's also nice to be by yourself. There's no one around. And it is seriously cool in the breeze. Well, that might be why there's no one else around. But it's nice. I got to say, these tracks are good and they are pleasant to be on. So hope you enjoy the ride out here. It is really fresh air. I do have gloves which I haven't put on yet, and I'm going to need to because otherwise I won't be able to move my hands in half an hour. Hopefully Joyce will be back in action. Not sure if we're going to see her on a bike for a bit, although we are toying with the idea of an e-trike. So because that means that Geordie could ride it as well, and you'll meet Geordie over time. He's on some of our other videos, such as the Hobbiton video. He appears in the Bruthen Medieval Festival video and a few others. So Geordie can't ride a bike, never going to be able to ride a bike, and he's also legally blind, so he needs help with a lot of things. So the thing with Geordie is that we're going to try and get him on a trike as well, just on the trails, and see if we can guide him along, because he can see the edges, and this trail it's very easy to distinguish the edges because of the colouring of the clay and that they put down. So in his case, and if he's with someone, it's fine. So we're going to give that a go as well. If you've got any feedback about e-trikes, please put in the comments below. Happy to hear your feedback. Any suggestions, always good. And you know, we're hoping to get a few more of the crew out. We've got the new jumper on today. I'll just see if I can tilt that down. There's the Burra Country hoodie. come back on again. So there's a little ramp, it's a little steep, little bit of ramp here. So I'm just going to see if I can get up here and have a quick look and see what's here. Do love an e-bike, especially on the hills. Okay, so I will tell you that the bit of track that I've just been riding on is, so yeah, this is definitely Benalla. The bit of track that I've just been on coming from Loch has been a pretty constant uphill gradient all the way, so not real steep, but uphill. And I did have a guy pass me, which you'll see in some of the video, and he was on a fully pedal powered bike, and I with the e-power on, so with some engine running to assist me, I had it on 3/4 of the way up, or step 4 I think, and I was keeping up with him. He did slow down significantly, so, and he looked like a pretty fit cyclist to me. So it is steep enough that if you are, even if you're a regular rider and you're a fit guy, girl, you will still have to bear in mind that that is a bit of a reasonable gradient. But as soon as he got past it, the gradient, he was gone. So clearly capable of riding there. So I've just stopped here in Benalla just to see what there is. I'm just going to pan the camera around. Sorry if it's on a bit of an angle because it is mounted to the front of the bike. But this is Benalla. It says Korumburra is 7 kilometres by road from here. There is a lyrebird on the front of that little house over there, which is probably in reflection of the name of the town. And I'm going to go and have a look. Now there's a little church here. Can't see any toilets, so no toilets that I can see. And I could be wrong, but there's no sign saying public toilets. So that's just the little town of Benalla. That we've got a little bit of footage here, and this little car park area here, and I'm going to head back down onto the trail and get back onto that, keep heading to Korumburra. So now there was another little thing along the way I wasn't really expecting, never really thought about, so worth noting. These tracks are running right through the middle of farms here, and most of the farms around here are going to be dairy farms, although there are crop farms around. They grow a lot of peas and things in this area, but dairy farm. And well, wouldn't you know it, I came across a cow just standing on the edge of the track. So just be aware, because cows will, if you're not used to being around cows, let me just tell you, cows have a bad habit of just walking out in front of things. They're not the cleverest animal on the planet, and the thing about them is that they will just walk out in front of you, and you could hit it, and I was very close to it. I didn't have a camera going at the time, so nothing is on film, but yeah, I come pretty close. This cow was just sitting up at the side of the track, and yeah, pretty close encounter with a cow. So just be aware of that, keep an eye out. Not that I think you're going to see that a lot, but just be aware of it. So look, I'm heading back now to Korumburra still. So as I said, that sign back there did say it was another 7 kilometres. Now, I will say, other than the fact that this is just a constant incline, and I'm hoping I'm getting a bit of footage of that. You won't see the incline, the footage. Look, it's not steep, it's just constant. And so just bear in mind that if you are not on an e-bike and you don't have that power assist and you are not a super fit person, you probably should be on an e-bike to make it a lot easier. But just be aware that you will get that incline, and it will slow you down. So how long it takes to do 15.5 k's, who's to say? Nothing steep, but absolutely is going to slow you down a bit. And that probably lasted for probably a good 3 kilometres, maybe 4, where I felt that. In fact, even right now, while I can't say it's what an angle it is, but I can see that the road is rising up, or the track is rising up in front of me. So, and I'm just crossing over the top of the South Gippsland highway, I think, or just one of the on-roads onto it. Yep, for the Benalla off-road. Yeah, but look, been really good. I will tell you, it is freezing. My face is burning with cold. I've put on my woolly gloves, my lambskin gloves to keep me warm, and they're working really well for this temperature. But it is freezing cold and my face is burning. And if you get up into any speed, which I have been doing, up to around about 20-23 kilometres an hour-ish, yeah, you can really feel your face burning on a day like today. So, but nice, really loving it. So this is the train station in Korumburra, and it's built in what is called the Queen Anne style, and it's a rare design. There's only, I think, I've found that there was only 3 railway stations were built with the Queen Anne style, and that relates mostly to the way the roof is made, and if you have a look at the way the buttresses and everything are made on the top there with the chimney stacks, that this is a pretty unique sort of building, and that is why it is now heritage listed. And it's all covered over with fencing and everything. It has been for quite some time. We're awaiting in Korumburra the restoration of this building. So this is something that the state government, I believe, or Railways Victoria, one of those little groups, is actually supposed to be working on at this stage, and they're going to make it into a usable state so that it can be used for receptions or it can be used for businesses or whatever in the town, which would be great. When it's done, it will be a great asset to the town of Korumburra. Now, the railway arrived in Korumburra. As we can see, this whole area is a railway precinct. It's quite a decent sized one. And the railway arrived here in 1891 and it closed in 1993. And like all, as we've mentioned in our other episodes, the main reason for that is that when these railway lines were originally put in place, they were put here for the purposes mainly for business, for transporting things like coal or logging or something like that. And those businesses slowly closed down. The mining stopped, and of course there was less rail needed. However, it was used for passengers, and we've got a whole lot of towns that have sprung up along the way, which are what the point of this series is, in a way, is to promote these little towns that all still exist along the railway, the rail trails. And those towns were connected by a railway line, and that people were able to get access public transport through on the railway lines, but now it's all gone right up through from right down in Port Welshpool on this line all the way up to Nyora, where the train line is now completely gone. And so we're left with the rail trails, which we've already explained, so we won't go back into that. It's in episode 1. But as you can see, there's still a lot of the buildings here. Now, it appears to be a joint project, I guess. The South Gippsland Council is hopefully spending taxpayer money on restoring parts of this. Of course, they don't own all of it, and so there's also a weight on other government agencies to actually provide funding for it. So really important that these areas get done up a bit, because as you can see, it is in a lot of disrepair, and it would be a pretty beautiful place and could be a fabulous venue and fabulous central part to this town if it was completely set up well. So there is work going on, and let's hope that in the near future we see some great improvements here. There's a little picnic area here as we come to the top, and just over to the left of that picnic area is a toilet block. So as you come into town, just remember there is a toilet block here. And also there is water available there. So we're just going to have a look at that, and that's just as you come off the trail straight into the main part of Korumburra. And if you look out across there, you can actually see that main street out across in front of us. That is the main street of Korumburra. That's the Commercial Street, and Commercial Street, it forms part of the South Gippsland Highway. So when you're coming down the highway, that is the main street. So it comes straight through the middle of the town. So yeah, welcome to Korumburra. Let's go and have a look around. So I've just had a bit of a look around here, and I was just looking for a water tap, so that if you needed water to fill a water bottle, or you've got the dogs with you, I was just looking for a water tap, and I can't see one right here anywhere, which is a little bit sad considering there is a little picnic area there. But I guess there's water from the toilets if you had to, but there's also plenty of shops and things here too. So if someone knows where there's a water tap just here along at the entrance off the trail, please put in the comments down below. That'd be really good, and it helps other people out if they're looking for where they can just fill a water bottle or whatever from a tap. So behind me is Kelly's Bakery. This is kind of famous amongst cyclists, both motorcyclists and bicycle cyclists. It's quite a popular spot. it is open. It's one of the latest opening places on a Saturday and Sunday for coffee and tea and drinks and snacks. And they do good lunches here as well. So it's right opposite as you come off the trail, very handily located, and it's also, as I said, it's on Commercial Street on the main road. So yeah, it's also got a little bakery around the front of it as well. Now there is another bakery in town. That bakery is called Barnsley's Bakery, and it is down the opposite side of the Commercial Street and further down the hill, and it opens up. And one of the things about bakeries is they open early in the morning, so if you are coming through early in the morning, I believe Barnsley's is open at something like 5 a.m, the storefront, and also Kelly's is open at around about 6 a.m. So if you're coming through early and you do need to stop in and get a pastry or something nice, or bread or whatever, those stores I believe are open. So make sure that you come in and check the stores out. We've also got there's also two tea shops in the street, one down the hill this way, the Tiny Teapot, and one up the hill called Luscious, I think it's called, on the other side of the road. So there are another two tea or coffee shops in the street. And then as we go up around the corner, we'll point out a couple of other businesses. There's also fish and chips here in this part of the street. There's also fish and chips further up around in Mine Road. And there's other food venues here. Of course, there's the two pubs, which we'll be having a quick look at. Okay, so just behind me is the Korumburra Brewing Company. Now, Korumburra Brewing Company is a bit famous for its specially locally brewed beers, and also it has a restaurant here, and they do wood-fired pizza and lots of things here. So this is another food venue worth checking out when you visit Korumburra. Now we're just coming up here to the top of Commercial Street. So this is the top of the main business street of Korumburra, and at this point this is where it's good to know a few things about the area. So at this point here, straight across the road, you can see the Korumburra Italian Social Club there. Now behind that is and I do apologise, it does get quite busy here on a weekend. Behind that is a supermarket, so that is just down the hill behind it. So there is a supermarket there which is open on weekends. And if I turn left at the top here and I go down across the bridge, there is a hospital just a little way down there, a couple of blocks down. So there is a hospital there. It does have an urgent care, what you would have called an emergency room, although it is limited, it's a small one, but there is medical care available there as well if needed. And then if I look across the top here again and I look straight across here at this hotel here, this is the Austral Hotel. Now the Austral Hotel was built in 1894, and it often gets referred to as the top pub, and so there's a reason for that, is that Korumburra had 3 hotels in it, and this one here is often referred to as the top pub. So this is at the top of the hill, so that's the top pub. Now just down that road a little bit further around the corner, just past the Austral Hotel there, you can see the old corner post office. That's actually now a private business, but it was the original post office. It's been very well renovated inside as a home, but there's also a shop inside it, so there is a little specialty store inside there as well, that is operated out of the old corner post office, and well worth having a look at the architecture of that building. It's very it's a pretty building, and the inside of that building, which I've seen photos of, is superb. It has been for sale in recent times and for quite a bit of money, so and it looks like a lot of money's been spent on it. Now just opposite the pub, just past there's the police station, and also opposite it on the other side of the road is a pizza store, and also there's an Indian restaurant there as well. So there's a bit more food around the corner. And then if you continue round that corner, round the Austral pub, there's another fish and chip shop. That becomes what's called Mine Road, and it's down that direction that you'll find the Coal Creek exhibition down there, and we're going to just do a quick shot down there shortly. It is probably about 3/4 of a kilometre down the road from here, and so that's down that way as well. There's also an ambulance station and fire station down that direction. So we'll go and have a quick look down there very shortly, and we'll show you the entrance to Coal Creek. So looking back down the town, as you can see, it's on a bit of a hill, and it wouldn't be Korumburra if it wasn't on a hill. And this area, South Gippsland, it is all hills, and that's great. It adds character, and it's a beautiful place to actually be looking at and living in. And all the towns around here have great views, and the scenery here is just amazing. So let's go down, we'll go for a bit further walk, and we'll go and have a look at some of the other points of interest down the street. So as I said, there is a bike store in Korumburra called the Bicycle Fitting Store. This is owned by John Harding. He raced cycles from somewhere in the 70s to the early 2000s, and he has a store here, and today he specialises in fitting bikes or fitting people to bikes so that they're actually set up right for you. So this bicycle store is open Monday to Friday between about 9 and 4, and on a Saturday the hours vary a bit, but it's about 9 to midday. And so that store is here, and good to know if you're riding through and you need a bike store. Obviously it's closed on a Sunday, so it's closed right now, and it's gone 12:30 so on a Saturday, so it's definitely closed by this time. So now across the road from there, straight across the road, is the Middle Pub. Now the Middle Pub, which is correct name is actually the Korumburra Hotel. It's called the Middle because, you guessed it, it's the hotel that was in the middle. Now this one was built a bit earlier than the Austral pub up the top, and this one was built in 1887, I think. 1889 it was built, is the Middle Pub. So it's been here a little bit longer, and of course it's called the Middle for a reason. There was a pub down the bottom which got referred to as the Bottom Pub. It's no longer there, and so we only have the Austral and the Middle in Korumburra now, and both have food venues. However, I will point out that the Middle Pub did just recently win the best chicken parma in regional Victoria for hotels, so that's for 2024. They've got a long list of awards for their food here, and also best hotel experience. So that's just a brilliant thing for a town like Korumburra. A hotel here is winning those awards, so that's worth noting. So, and I have eaten quite a few of the chicken parmas here at the hotel, and I can say they are probably the best parma in the known universe. Road a little bit, as you can see there. Now just down past the Middle Hotel there is on the left side, there is an ATM. There's an NAB ATM there. It's a standalone one, so there's no bank, but there is an ATM there right beside it. And there's also a cafe further down, walking down to the end of the shops there. There's one called the Tiny Teapot down the end there. And at the other end of town, at the top end, there's one called Luscious. So there are two cafes down along here. There's also Barnsley's Bakery is over the other side there of the street, and it's just down there a little bit as well. Now just here where I am, so right beside the bicycle fitting store, is the original under rail pass that goes through under the train line here. So it exits under the rail trail, and there has been a number of murals commissioned. So this wall has been done under commission. So the artwork is artwork, and it's actually been done here under commission to brighten the area up, and certainly does add some colour and enhancements to it, and it really makes these sort of areas now better. And now there is, I believe, a planned work for improving this under rail trail. I have to say the lighting in here is not really great, and look, there is some brilliant artwork down here. Unfortunately, you get just a little way into here, and there's some artwork which I think was originally done by some schools here. Unfortunately, as you get to around about this point here, this is just full of criminal vandalism. Basically, it's got graffiti everywhere. So basically, they've just ruined. It's just ruining a pretty good landmark, and hopefully that's going to get fixed up in the near future. You know, some people seem to think it's a great idea to vandalise things with paint. It's not commissioned work. It's just rubbish, and it just basically ruins the area. So, but if I walk back through here, I'm going to come out the other side of the train station. So I'm just going to quickly walk back up through here so you can see. when I come out here, other than it suddenly getting light and I'm going to get rained on, I come out and the first little building here on the right, this is the original station master's house. So that house there, it is part of probably the restoration project. I don't know what they're going to be doing with this, but it is part of the train station itself. And as I come out here, and if I walk up this little part of the hill here, you can see that we come back out onto the rail trail itself. So we've just basically done a little loop around. Okay, so we've just popped down to the Coal Creek Community Park and Museum. So that's what's behind me here, and it is actually free to get in. It is open most days of the week, I believe, certainly on the weekends, and you can come and have a look. Now this is like a restoration town of how Coal Creek was back in the mining days, and they also hold a market here in the car park once a month, so it's a place to come to. And just a point as well, there are more public toilets down here in Coal Creek, just out the front here in the car park, so there are some public toilets here as well. But as I said, Coal Creek is worth a visit. There's a lot of volunteers that actually put a lot of time and effort into maintaining the heritage pieces that are kept in Coal Creek. There's actually an entire locomotive representative of the original rail line down in here, sitting down here on a track in Coal Creek Museum and the community park. And also what's held here is a lot of festivals. There's some really big festivals held here, very big music festivals, and certainly some big attractions actually come to Korumburra to hold their music at this venue, because it is just a brilliant community venue for things like music and for celebrations and all those sort of festival sort of activities. Across the road that way, so across the highway, straight across is the motel that's in town, and that's called the Coal Creek Motel. So just so you know, there is a motel there. There's also a caravan park in Korumburra and campground, and that's down towards the Botanical Gardens. There's also, I believe, some caravan parking down at the football reserve there that can be booked down there. And there are quite a few B&Bs here in Korumburra. So there is accommodation here, and basically it's a great place to stay and a great place to start your visit to the South Gippsland region. The other thing that's here is, and one of the reasons why this gets called the gateway to South Gippsland, is that you can come through here. The highway comes straight through town and heads off. The next town along behind me is Leongatha, which is a bigger town. But the thing about Korumburra is that if you come into town and you get to where the middle pub was and you turn right, that'll take you straight down. 30 minutes away is Wonthaggi and Inverloch. Now, just before that, if you turned left as you're coming into town, you can actually go up to Warrigal or to Druin, and those areas are about 40 minutes away. So Korumburra is a great central point to work from if you're going to be touring in this area. So well worth a stay here and well worth a visit, and make sure that you come down and look at what Korumburra has to offer. Okay, well that's the end of episode 3 in Korumburra. Really appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. And behind me is the track heading out towards Leongatha, which will be episode 4 for the Great Southern Rail Trail. In the meantime, we'll have been out to Bruthen for one of the winter solstice and the winter festivals in East Gippsland. And so please check that video out, and see you next time on Burra Country.